I do these daily readings. Today I was on the Instagram and my storage things with my phone, and I decided to do a live share. And then doing the live share on Instagram, I thought, oh my god, I'm not really doing live shares except for the Patreons, and I think I could just do the daily live shares on the Insta and the YouTube from time to time to like maybe catch some of you live and to tune in with the energies. It was really enjoyable hanging out with some of the Insta friends. So, and again, that means that the YouTube can get a little bit unique and exclusive content from the Instagram, etc. So let me know what you guys think about that. And I'm still creating the monthly readings, the week ahead readings. Patreons get first access. We had a weekly yoga session, which I'm intending to keep on keeping on. And I'm starting to get some requests from people about learning tarot, learning about working with these cards and just kind of working with intuition. So leave it with me, basically. I think there could be something brewing around just maybe a like 6 week course or like a 4 week course where we just meet up and talk about how to work with tarot and what the heck is it, and because it's something that I do disclaimer vibe when I'm having sessions, especially live, where disclaimer, I'm not a psychic. Like, I in no way really resonate with that. I'm not somebody who sees ghosts. I'm not working with those energies in the way that maybe a lot of people think. I'm purely intuitive, which means like I feel and sense things, and I use tarot as the guideposts. So as in intuition bod will be like pull a card, and somehow that resonates with them, and the message that I get somehow resonates with your story, right? So when you kind of start to break it down, when you have a little bit more of that kind of quantum awareness, things like tarot make a lot more sense. And it's purely because, we are our own creator. We're all creating these realities, and helping ourselves discern what we're working with is sometimes, I think, the biggest, because it's difficult. I think we all, I've been duped plenty of times. I've been a victim of fraud. I've been, like, because we want this or we want that. And, it's often a bit of an ego trip because we want the thing. So it's interesting. I think that was a big shift in these last few years. What is really, really important? One another. I think, hey, Scott, one another and this planet, and like sharing her resources and looking after ourselves and one another, and just really simple stuff, right? Looking after our families, looking after our friends, like, makes me sad in a way, but I'm like, it's not that hard. It's only because we live in this weird economy where the majority of humans are having to literally slave just to, like, maybe if they're lucky, eat. It's kind of shit, actually. Very, very much so. Rochelle, I thought of you yesterday or the day before. And my sincerest love supreme, actually. So we had our first yoga session yesterday, and if I'm honest, I'm actually sitting with the whole like recording it thing, because I personally would never ever record a yoga class. Like, I think it's sacred, and I think our phones are everywhere, and it's annoying, straight up. Like, I would never kind of do that. And then I was starting to think of the Zoom, so I get to have this sacred Zoom sesh, just to reach further afield, right? So I had somebody in this country join me at 4. I had somebody from the west coast of the United States join, and it was 8 in the morning for them. And it was, and it was a really gorgeous session. And I just thought, for me, if I get overly technical about it, it could take away from the flow. And all that means is that yesterday I didn't capture a replay. Ooh, intriguing. A new yoga. I think we all have. It's like we all have our own unique yoga within. Look at that. Look at that little bit of ball of hay. Anyway, we do the recordings to try to like get on with the program, but we are going to pull cards for today. It's Divine Guidance and Loving Clarity for my Love is Supreme. Divine Guidance and Loving Clarity. I love you guys. This is for the Altar Love Collective. Divine guidance and loving clarity. A whole new world. A whole new world. Star card. MJ is getting cold, so we're going to need to get a little jacket on here. Oh, it's much nicer. Much nicer and snugglier. Okay, so the world is here, you guys. The world with the star energy. Major shift, right? Major change. Void cat and do not smash. You're the best, Rochelle. You're the best. It's all majors, you guys. It's all majors today. Overcoming, I mean, in a pure sense, because I'm looking down at double reverse, you've gone through some major healing. Yeah, I think you've like gone through some major healing. You've born a new perspective. You're like floating in the realms, and there's almost a sense of, okay, now what? What do I do now? Where am I going next? What should I conjure? What should I create, right? So always with the star card, I can't help but think of when you wish upon a star, right? When we're, think about that aspect. Think about that creative moment or truth. You're in the dark, right? It's dark. Usually, always when we see stars in the night sky. It's you alone in the darkness, in the void, looking at little sparks of light and making a wish. Because in essence, that's the reflectivity, that's the reflectivity of truth. Like you are seeing an aspect of self, like in the you are the void and you are the light. So you have this infinite, eternal, voidal, creative juice to birth lightness, to create sparks of existence, right? So this is, and these are very feminine energies, I got to say, because they are just in, it would depend on the deck, right? But actually the star in the traditional Rider-Waite, oh no, they're feminine energies. So this is creative, holistic, right? 28. Woo! Big energies. 27, 28 into our, well, until about 30, I would say 30 years, we're in our Saturn return. It's really, really big energies, big shifts. Okay, so, and I mean, that's indicative of these cards. The star card, wish upon a star, but there's also some sort of really profound healing that has brought you to this new place where it's time to go, okay, now what? What am I going to do now? How am I going to move forward? Do I want to move forward? Who do I want to move forward with? Like, this is a very, for now, this is a very solitary, this is just you in the world or you in the cosmos, right? There's no, I think for some of you, you've already let go of a heck of a lot, right? You've already let go of a heck of a lot. Now it's just, again, you in existence. God, man, these energies, this Five of Cups is really, honestly, like, I had about 3 or 4 readings yesterday. All of them came with the Five of Cups. So all that is saying to me is that collectively speaking, there's a lot of grief. There's a lot of emotional turbulence and pain and healing and like, what is life? And, you know, like, seriously, just as much as we all want, like, yeah, life, woo, but that's just not, that's a Hollywood illusion. None of that is actually, it's just, it's like a frame. It's just a time frame. It's like a picture, a moving picture, right? There's no substance to it in truth. The substance is in our real experience, right? The truth is in our experience. And to me, that light of awareness to transform these energies of loss, plus generationally, I would say that this generation, so people born probably 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, like there's deconstruction. It's like, so there's this multi-generational or sort of large generational stamp that's having to, and or much of their framework for existence is like being deconstructed, as in the way we relate in relationships, or the way we just relate to working lives, or the way we relate to money, the way we relate to celebrity. Like, these things are all up for review, generationally speaking. And from my perspective, from the Alta Love perspective, I'm like, a lot of things that used to like excite us or make us think da, 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 a lot of that's going to kind of be flipped on its head. So overly material, or like obsessions with celebrities that might not even be decent people, right? Like, because I'm not somebody who needs or wants to like tear down anybody in any way, shape, or form. To me, it's just healing, know the self, integrity, and have, live a simple life. Do what you love. Like, thank God. I think that is one thing. We can all have ambition. We can all want to have stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. And yet, like, just to do what we love. Like Scott was reflecting that, right? Like, just the gift of being able to do something we love. It's simple, but it like shares truth with people. It shares authenticity. It shares something that we all feel, and that we can all connect to. I wish, in these moments, I wish we could see ourselves more clearly, because I think we all have these blind spots, which is usually covered in judgment. I'm gonna stop pulling cards now, you guys. Okay, we're gonna. So this healing, fundamentally, again, I'm going to stay in the positive realms, but this healing, because, okay, there's still some emotional grievance going on. You're still healing. Ten of Swords, there's still a reflectivity. So you're still having to maybe reflect on the past, reflect on past hurts, past pains, past belief systems, past destructive thinking, toxic thinking, whatever. You're breaking free from all that, but still feeling the grief of it, maybe, or running through almost like an addiction around remembering how this felt to be betrayed, to be heartbroken. But it's the star energy in the world that I'm thinking you gotta hold that, because really what it's doing is helping you perceive incredibly purely and clearly, to the point that you'll sniff other people, you'll sniff the lies, you'll be able to suss the lies. This is part of overcoming these really painful cycles, is about learning. So once you've been through this, you're not gonna go through it again, right? This is over, it's done. You're like, whoa, holy my God. And now it's like, don't make any rash decisions, and don't let anybody manipulate you. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. Especially in the next couple of days, like if somebody's trying to weasel you out of more money, don't give it to them, okay? There's a lot of scam energy. One of my friends just had their mother on the phone to them going, I've just sent the money to you. And they're like, what money? As in, somebody on the internet messaged them, messaged the mother, pretending to be the son, going, and then there she is, like, trying to send the money over. It's like, why, how, why? I don't. But then I'm like, when you create a debt economy, right? Everybody ends up in debt, and then everybody's struggling, and then everybody is almost like forced criminality because people are trying to survive, or not. Or people are generally just being really douchey. I think there's a bit of both. Like, I don't know. I'm idealistic. I want to remain positive. And yet there's all these other aspects of multidimensionality, multiverse, that we're all here in our individual co-creation with our God source and universe, and that there really is no good or bad or duality in truth. There just the isness, and that we're all infinitely creating infinity. Like, it's just so expansive that our little human brains are like, but it's the truth. Like, as in, we never die. And yet, if we're gonna hurt people, and that's the point of karma. working through karma is experiencing the pain we've inflicted. That's how I see it anyway. It is though. It actually is like, and you could also look at it in other stuff like debt is money, money is debt. Like it's the same thing. Or like you create it through the debt system, and the debt system is as us being indentured into creating resources, but the resources are already there and we should all have access to them. So there's like a serious disconnect with our way of being on the planet when we disregard the planet and prioritize this false economy that we created. Ooh, you could elaborate on that, Rochelle. I'm curious. If I punch Joe. Great is douchey, isn't it? Yeah, I hear that too about the things going in threes. I think when we're in it, it's just that quite a few of my friends I've been observing. I mean, I'm aware of the stuff going on in my own reality, obviously, and then actually sometimes when I hear about stuff going on in other people's realities, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so grateful. This is intense. Like, just all these amazing, wonderful people where you just it's just one thing after another, and I think through I feel like for some peeps it's gone way beyond 3. Like it's 12 and they're just like keep her coming, like it's just this depth of intensities that and then that's the polarity swing of the Neptunian shadow aspect of things like addictions and escapisms. And it's why when I am going through an emotional storm, I'll grab my phone and distract myself because it's painful, right? And like in a sense, the three-dimensional construct is superficial. It doesn't give the human slave time to process emotion, to feel deeply, because in aspect that's part of the power. Why would we be a slave if we know we're a creator, right? So part of the regenesis and or paradigm shift is going from debt-based slave separation consciousness into empowered state Christ consciousness, right? Where we all get to create and we all get to be free. The truth shall set you free, not the illusion, not the control, not the fear. It's the truth. And truth is love. And truth is compassion. And truth is eternal life. So it's not like you're dirty, gross, awful human sinners. That's just one life. That might just be one experience of your godliness, right? It's pretty cool. Like, it's pretty wild. Hey, Lorna in the house. Angela in the house. Cats ate as if one. No, my lover. I just read a bit of tarot. I do talk about the love of life, though, and the profundity of the healing of the heart. You hear me? Oh my goodness, it's hitting my heart space. Look at this card, longing for home. Longing for home. Can you read it? Homesick for the stars. That makes me think of just like the star seed and oh god, I can feel it in my heart. Like you guys know it. I feel that. Like you really feel right, okay, exactly. Programming. You program an innocent species to believe they are that which they are not. You create distortion of truth, right? I.e., this matrix, or just but then as I could go on about this stuff, but then I'm like, none of this even that I speak is true either. It's only like just like this freaking infinite universe. We're all just like infinitely like blah. Very weird. Very and I think we all, I would dare say, we all go through these transformations, get to new perspectives. I thought I knew a lot of stuff. I don't anymore. And in fact, in the previous cycle of knowing, I felt very ambitious, driven, like self-importance, and if anything, it's about healing the shame of that, and then also forgiving her, and then continuing on our merry way in a greater sense of humility and grounded wisdom, right? Like, and also like letting go. So many attachments over a lifetime that connect themselves to that separation consciousness and densities that honestly you just get to different points of maturation where you're like, I literally just can't be bothered to think about that or worry about that. Like, but yeah, it's very weird. And yet, I don't know, just the spaciousness within the heart. I think in many ways life does get better, right? Please answer. Angela, please answer. Do you believe in a thing called love? I believe in a thing called love. And I believe that, yeah, higher power, the infinitude of grace, that which is the backbone of all of our existences. I believe this is an omnipotent consciousness present that you could call God. I did grow up Catholic, I understand, but I'm not dogmatic, and I'm certainly not judge, or I endeavor to transform my judgment rather than judge people, because I'm not God for other people. There's only a sense of me tuning into my relationship with God, which is an aspect of self. That's also an interesting question, right, Scott? So like, as in, do you believe in the same God? And this is all part of, this is where we're at, I think, right? Where our ability to hold the space so that we can communicate, dialogue, and help one another understand our perspectives, because that's so true, right? Like, not think about so many world religions seem to have been incited because of a misunderstanding of whose God is the right God, right? And in my sort of idealistic, harmonized, or loving heart, I and through doing a fair bit of research into different world religions and such things, I'm pretty sure it's all this, in its purest essence, it's speaking to the same force of life, or spark of life. Every world religion is highlighting that divinity code within us. The altar of God is our heart, right? So yes, believe in a higher power. Is it aligned with an ideology or sort of philosophical constructs? Certainly not. You know, we can't bring down the almighty spiritual essence to a human construct to try to control. And sadly, I broke free from Catholicism myself because I kind of discerned that this church was actually trying to control and enslave people, then empower them to connect to the God within. Although, like in all fields of our world, I think there are probably some beautiful, amazing priests and people preaching, to each their own. Just like there's amazing doctors, and there's plenty of doctors that probably wouldn't want them telling you what to do. Like there's a lot of priests. I grew up in a part of Canada where many years after I left the school, it turns out that one of the priests at our school was indeed molesting the children. So yeah, there's shade, and I think there's issue when we're in a religious construct which has people suppress their desires, because from an evolutionary standpoint, our desires are part of who we are, and they're there for a reason. If we deny them, they end up coming in the shadow, i.e. pedophilia. That's how I interpret it. I'm sure there's deeper layers of psychoses and issues, but to me, if you suppress your sexual desire, it could come out in really shady ways. Hello, Catholic Church, right? Yeah, and I guess it is, but I mean, in a sense, I guess I've so far gone that um I still fundamentally think it's like a control tactic. I don't like I in many ways I think because you think about the Inquisition and you think about Catholicism and how it rose to power, a lot of it was through fear and killing witches, killing medicine people, killing peasants, killing people that didn't align, killing people that didn't pay, killing people that had a light, killing people that maybe did have a connection to source, and then stamp all of that out and deem to know or deem to be the one who can connect the people to the source, and then control. Because I think because women have a womb, I think uh, those forces or powers that be had a real agenda to control the body, our physical bodies, women and men alike. If you control the body, you control the Christ consciousness, right? So breaking our body, and but bearing in mind our, and this is part of the religious distortion, right, is that they would have us think that our bodies are just these separate disgusting meat suits that have nothing divine, as in as in don't be sex, don't have desire, don't shame the body, right? You're like, no, 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 to heal and become a unified state you actually have to bring spirit into your body, alchemize those separation aspects, right? And that's where the emotional work comes in, where again it's like, just cry, man up, just get on with it. It's like, okay, that whole paradigm, manning up, is just making us sicker and sicker and just killing the planet and just you're right. So I'm like, we have to own it. We have to take back our power right into our heart, purge the fears, let go of the pain, and reconstruct those aspects that will support a greater whole. We know it we do know, you know. And I'm not talking about having answers. I'm talking about a beingness that is inherent in the truth of all that we are and always have been. Whether we were, I don't know, in Atlantis, or whether we were flying around in a spaceship in the Orion Wars, or whether we, popped out from another universe and lost all that we knew and ended up in a completely different universe. Like, there is just infinite expansive awareness and information within you that is unique to you and special to you. And if you tap into that, that can empower you rather than ostracize you. And the more of us that empower those psychic abilities, those quantum realms, those other aspects of stuff, the more that we can harmonize with this planet as an intergalactic planetary station, right? I don't know, like it's almost like more and more and more and more those old paradigms are just, it's like, oh yeah, what was that? Oh, that was the end of an age. That was the end of a cycle on this planet, which I guess we all signed up for on some level. Holla, high five. Right? It's like, why did I do this? You chose it. Accept it. I did. I heeded the call. Like, I have a memory. I don't know about you guys, but I have a memory of doing my thing in the cosmos and like literally hearing a call, like the energy of Earth stopping me in my tracks and being like, oh, I'm gonna go there. We've got work to do there. And beautiful place. In my soul story, I definitely have been looking for a home. It's taken me a few lifetimes to get here. I kept dying, you guys. I just kept getting brutal like hell. But here we are. And now there was most of my life, I wanted this to be my last lifetime. And then more recently, I'm like, oh my God, I'm just getting started. What? Although, if I'm in an emotional storm, if you get me on a bad day, I'll be like, I'm out. I'm gonna cry. I don't want to be here. But then I just think, oh my God, life, I don't know. It's so beautiful, isn't it? Take a rest. You're wrapping up a cycle, big one, and all these cards are really saying, as I ramble through, you guys, hilarious. You just need a bit of rest. Nine of Wands, wounded warrior, right? If you are feeling the res of the homesick, of going through all these, of letting stuff go, and then the upright cards are rolled and star. healing from these big cycles, which have probably been traumatic, painful. Hey, Brittany, what up? So be easy on yourself. Stay anchored in that emotional work. It's working. You are healing. And I think it's one of those, like, when you really give yourself that time to rest and decompress, then you'll be guided forward. This is movement. This is movement that's coming in. It's very natural, organic. Think of horses, right? They're so graceful, powerful. They move directions. They move with the wind, right? Think of the wild horses aspect. This is huge. Doctor, what up, doctor? There's a really beautiful grace in this horse energy as well. So yeah. Rest, my loves. You need it. This is something we don't often, like, again, our society just doesn't really give it that time. For some of you, it might be 8 weeks. For some of you, you might need a substantial amount of time off to properly rest. There's no shame in that, okay? It's going to offer you a deeper understanding, as in an integrated wisdom, an embodied wisdom that, of course, is going to help you move forward. My call turned out wrong number. That makes me think of, like, are you still in the same number? Have you received any of my not my text, my WhatsApp messages? I feel like you might have gone off the WhatsApp though. Anywho. And the Patreons, you guys are getting the goods. We had our yoga session. I'm not sure if I can do the replay, but that's true, not true. But as far as, I don't want to do the replay on YouTube. I tried recording it. It's not quite what I'm after. And then I realized, actually, no, I think I'll be able to do it on my phone, which I'm used to, and then record it, and it will send me a recording, and then I can upload the recording or just send the link to the Yoga Peep. So anyway, I'm kind of talking out loud right now. My apologies. But it means that for some of you in my Patreons, there isn't a replay link this time. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I did record it, but I'm feeling stuff, and I don't basically want to publish the recording. Simple as that. But I did enjoy the yoga session, and I'd like to continue it. So for some of you, there's a recognition coming in. I weirdly get a sense that this is somebody you know, as in, I'm going to recognize you. I recognize this person, okay? So my love, so this is where I'm at. We did a little read, lots of chat, lots of little blabfesteroonies, and a great chance to get to know everybody. I come live today because I ended up going live on Instagram, and I kind of realized, like, if I have the time, because I had a yoga cancellation this morning. I thought, if I have the time, the live shares are a really great way to connect. It means that the YouTube's going to get slightly different content from my Instagram account. And and it can allow me to engage. Otherwise, if you are new, hi, nice to meet you. I do monthly readings, weekly week ahead readings, and daily intuitive tarot. I ramble a lot. I talk about these healing practices, probably as a broad subject. You could say it's spiritual chat. And my intention is simply to empower our freedom as a collective, and more love and more healing, more honesty, more of those things that are actually really good for us. Forgiveness is freaking huge. I wrote a book. There's apparel. And of course, these services, you can always book a private reading. You can book a yoga sesh. If you're a little bit more kind of distant, you can join the Patreon community for a $5 and get first access ad-free on the content. Top tier patrons get access to the weekly yoga session, and they also get discounted rate on sessions. For example, ongoing flexi package for yoga and tarot is like, I think 50 quid for half hour sesh, whereas Patreons can do up to 2 sessions a week for like 280, I think, like that. So there's a substantial discount on services for Patreons. Anywho, mostly I just love you guys. Hey, Michelle. See this? A push. Once you guys get used to this community, you will realize that I got my own lingo. How's it going? I appreciate you, Michelle, so much. And a lot of you, if you are a newbie here, a lot of us here have been connected for quite a while. So there's like a sort of solid friendship community here. And or a lot of us are connected. Oh, thank you, Scott. So yeah, the Fearless Life Guide, that is my book. It's like a divinely guided. It's only years later that I realized it was like an intuitively guided, my own interpretation of shadow work. And it was very earnest how I came to do the shadow work just through my yoga meditation life. Yeah. So it's about shadow work and clearing those emotional densities. I use those expressions of raising your vibration, but I don't actually necessarily align with that anymore. But I think it does. I think it does make us lighter and clearer and technically high viber, but I don't really care about that anymore. As far as it's more total. It's not high or low anymore to me. It's just the beingness of the totality of your expression, which is the light, right? Which is the God that you are. So you don't need to try to be high vibe. You already are. You are that. And when you're low vibe, that's okay. That's perfect too. Do you know what I mean? So there's this total love and acceptance rather than a gotta go higher. Maybe one day I'll edit my book. Maybe one day I'll make another edition that's more aligned with where I am and where this community is. So I do narrate. I have had people reach out to me and be like, oh my God, you narrated it. Thank you. I'm like, yo, I did. It's available on Audible. That's right. It's available on Amazon Kindle. You guys are the freaking best. Like, seriously, again, Scott, Michelle, we've been connected for a good while now. Rochelle, we've been connected for like 6-7 years now. Or longer, 8 maybe. I think we met maybe as early as 2014 or 15. Anyway, you guys are the best. I really love you and appreciate you. It's kind of fun, isn't it, doing the live shares. So I'm glad I came live today. We'll try to keep it fairly regular, but either way, we have our monthly messages. If you go to altalove.com, you can subscribe there. Mostly just look after yourself, you guys. I mostly just wish better for us all, you know. Part of my empathy from a very young age was like just sort of like wanting to be able to take away the pain of the world, you know. And that's part of why I connect with doing the emotional regenesis, because of my awareness. When we transform that pain from within self, we can eventually project a clearer, lighter, more empathic, more compassionate, more loving world, right? So yeah, let's keep shining and loving and processing. Thank you. Same here, since it was a wee little one, right? Oh, you guys are the freaking best. Oh, truly enjoyable to be here with you guys. I love and appreciate you all very, 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 very much. Thank you for being my friends. I was almost going to say internet friends, and I'm like, regardless, it's friends. Some people are like, oh yeah, online marketing. I'm like, guys, at this stage in the game, I just genuinely believe business is business, and it's a reflection of who you are, and you can try to crack a code or what have you, but if you just like my yoga careers, like if you just keep showing up at something, you'll find your way. You know, if you keep doing what you love, you will find your way. But then we can't compare ourselves to other people. Who am I to say? Oh, I love you. I'm simply a reflection of you, my darling. You are bright, beautiful light as well. Mega love. Super dupes appreciate all of you, and Yeah, keep on keeping on. This is one of those moments where I genuinely wish we were all sitting around having coffee and chatting. You know what I mean? Or I've had that a lot with you guys, where because it feels like a lot of us are scattered and we don't actually have that many humans physically in our world that we can like talk to about a lot of this stuff. So we seem to sort of find these people on the internet we connect to, but who knew, right? Like, who knew that some of us, like, these would be our peeps, that you'd live all over the world. And anyway, and exactly. And like Scott will often jest, but I feel that connection of like, hey, let's go for coffee. Okay, cool. It's a virtual, right? But it's still that sense of like having a friend, like, hey, let's meet up for dinner. Hey, let's go to the beach. Hey, let's do that. And so what? If technically we're doing it alone in different parts of the world, there's still a sense of connection and friendliness, which is what most of us are wanting, right? Vietnamese, that's a Holla Shazam Vietnamese coffee, my friend. It's like, it tastes like freaking every person, coffee person that is, that I have shared my coffee with, they're like, oh my God, what is this? I'm like, what? I'm like, you have to import it. It's only from eBay, and it's only a fraction more than what you buy at the shops. But it's freaking worth it. I'm addicted. I'm addicted to it. Just, and I don't care. I'm going through this phase where I just give no razzmatazzes anymore. I'm like, I am who I am. This is my path. If you like it, great. If you don't, don't. Here we go. Here I go. Girls, what's my business, man? Sorry, that's so far from the truth that I don't even know what that means anymore. But anyway, I love you guys. See, this is what used to happen. Remember, Scott? Remember, Rochelle? Those mornings, every single morning for years, where I would just like drink coffee and be like, what? Sharing all the insights of life. Salt and pepper. What's another one? Oh, do you? You buy the instant. I wonder if it's as good as the real stuff. I would doubt. My mother lived off coffee and peanut butter. Do you want to see my peanut butter tub, Rochelle? I will show you. I will show you. No shame here. Because as a vegan, you cannot run out of peanut butter. You cannot run out of peanut butter. It's a staple. You know, like I can eat the fruits and eat the stuff and eat. So I'm a vegan, but I'm like a plant-based vegan. So like I'm not really actually into like fake meat anymore. I used to like it as a treat, like, oh, I'm eating a burger to go. Now I'm not, like, there's too much goodness in real food, right? So I'm more of like a beans and pulses and all the things. Anyway, peanut butter, because every vegan needs a bit of fat in their belly. Plus, let's be real, when you're a vegan, you just get hungry. I don't know, but I can't speak for everybody, but sometimes it just feels like I'm hungry a lot. And so I like to have granola bars and like apples and nuts and things just that I can eat, because you never know when hunger's going to strike. And nobody needs to feel my hangry rage, right? It happens, but I'd prefer not to unleash that. I'd prefer not to unleash the beast. I'd prefer to just have a little nibble, calm myself, and not rage at another human, but it does happen. Oh my goodness, I have missed this. Ooh, cashew butter. And also almond. Oh, somebody's already said it. Yep, see, Lorna. Lorna made, I think it was Lorna or Brenda. Somebody, was it you, Lorna, who made some peanut butter cookies? Dang, they looked good. They looked, my mouth's watering just thinking of them, because they looked exactly like the kind of peanut butters I want. Yeah, right. Hangry vibes. No bueno. You don't want them. Cashew butter, almond butter, all the butters, they're pretty gosh darn good, aren't they? And then, but I'll tell you what, there's a type of almond butter. Okay, so almond butter and a certain brand normally have, I think they blend the almonds with the skin, right? But there's one brand, I forget what it is, But they have an almond butter, again, mouth watering just thinking about it. It must be that they take the skin off the almonds and soak them because it's whiter. So it's like a whiter, more clarified almond butter. Oh my God, it is. I will buy a jar of it because it's expensive. I'll buy like a little jar of it for like 8 quid, which is probably about $12 American. So I buy these like little jar. Guess how long it lasts? Like one serving. You know, like a jar, and you're meant to put this thin little spread. I eat it from the spoonful, and I'll like slabber on to the toast and the. I don't chintz. I don't see the point at this point in my life of chintzing, as in trying to limit food and stuff. I don't abide by any diet. As far as, well, that's not true. I'm a vegan, but I've been vegan most of my life because I couldn't kill the animals. It's like looking into the eye of a cow and a sheep and a lamb, and as a little kid, when I realized that was the steak and the ribs, it was like I couldn't actually stomach it. Like just gnawing on flesh made me want to vomit. And as it turns out, as a constitution, for me personally, as soon as I went veggie vegan as a child, my digestion sorted out, my skin sorted out, my so I never went back. I've never had cravings for meat, for blood, for flesh. Although I call myself a non-radical vegan because if like I live in the countryside, if I have a neighbor who has eggs from their free-range chickens who are literally running around, I'll have an egg if it's going. I'm not, as in like when, I don't know, I might have had an egg like 3 months ago, for example. I think eggs are non-violent, and they're a really good source of protein actually. So I'm like, I don't see the ish. Um, However, I still don't eat a lot of eggs or animal product, for that matter. I don't think there's anything wrong with eating meat. I think that if you're going to choose to eat meat in your heart, you want to check in and make sure that it aligns with your spirit to kill the creature. A lot of meat eaters I know kill their own. And I actually much prefer that than people that don't want to face the slaughter, but just want to eat their Mackie D's. Like, ooh, oh no. I don't want to acknowledge what I'm actually eating. There's a disconnect there. I'm like, but people that go fishing, or people that are slaughtering their creatures and have an actual compassionate relationship, like authentic trackers and people like old school hunter-gatherer vibe, they have a connection with the spirit of the animal. And they pray and are giving thanks for the life force, right? They're not just going through the drive-through at Mackie D's in denial and or in ignorance of the truth, right? This is also, you guys, by FYI, this is what I love. I'm off on my own little ramble sass. And then I look down and you guys are proper like, oh no, you guys are having, oh what? Oh, what? Oh look, we've got a creature getting involved in our chats here. She's not. What is it, baby girl? Whoa, mayonnaise by the spoonful. I used to eat peanut butter by the bowlful. I'm gonna, if I do find those things, I'll share the almond butter I wanted to share with you. Ooh, quinoa porridge. Ovolactarian, is that like someone who eats eggs? I lost a militant vegan friend. Oh, this is what I'm talking about though. I just don't get the whole like being compassionate and super dupes loving for the animals, but being a complete arswipe to humans. I'm like, well, there's got to be a middle ground. And again, it's compassion. As in, I just have compassion. I also recognize the empowered perspective of animals. Animals choose to be here too. And if I have to accept a war-torn, greedy, corrupted, oppressive world, I have to accept that those animals are also choosing their reality too. I know it might sound a bit far-fetched, right? But you went up right on. Venison hunting. See? But this is what I mean. I'm like, but this is so the truth. I grew up fishing. We had a cottage. And my uncles, and I remember them skinning the fish. If anything, I could go back I would probably be fish. Like I could stomach it. I could handle it, right? Mammals, no. Deer, cows, no, not for me. However, my uncles used to hunt, and that's what I'm talking about. But the difference is that, like, I had to see the slaughter, but they went out, they tracked it, they right responsibly killed it, slaughtered, etc. Whereas like mass production and slaughtering, it just literally. Plus, I just don't think people. What? You can say hello. This is my friend's dog, Mabel. She's super dupes gorgeous. I just wanted to show you guys because there was something we were talking about. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at this lovely, lovely creature. A friend of mine, this is his dog. And he needed a dog sitter. And I might be getting a cat as well. Ugh. It's happening, you guys. I know. Don't go to little pupper. Plus, like, I know that her dad doesn't really let her on sofas and beds, and I'm always like, come up here, snuggle my. So I think she likes it. Do you like it, Mipes? She's so, like, I literally cry when I see her. I'm just so in love. It's amazing. Yeah, I know I might get a kitty, so. Oh, you guys, anyway, super razzmatazz blabafest supreme. I don't even care though. Unconditional. Oh my god, it is unconditional love. It's such unconditional love. It's cray. I'm so thankful. I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch. She's a gorgeous little creature, isn't she? She's just adorable. Am I the only one? I know I'm not the only one, but like animal voice. Like I literally can't. Yeah, so. Hi, Mike. You're right. Little girl. Just crazy, isn't it? Hey, Dijon. Hello there. I know this is what happened with the live shows. You just get different peeps coming in and meeting up. And anyway, you guys have a great day. Love you loads. Super dupes. Appreciate all of you. Long-standing friends here now. Have a great day, you guys. I'm gonna sign off now, but I think I might come back and do some more lives. Yeah, okay. All the creatures, right? Constant chit chat. So, oh my god, I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. And I'll definitely see you guys soon. Again, if you want to join the Patreons for first access ad-free, cool. Otherwise, just see you guys. Love you loads. You're amazing. We're all reflections of each other, so it's great community to be in. A lot of love here.